Jarrod, Dean, thank you so much for joining us. Jarrod, starting with you, can you tell us a little bit about the work you're doing right now at Cambridge University?
Yes, the Cambridge Peaceshaping and Climate Lab draws on some of the great work of the Cambridge Centre for Social Innovation within which it is situated. What we are seeking to do is bring together some of the voices that often are talking against each other, cross purposes, in order to help bring a multilateral approach to achieving sustainable peace outcomes. So with the research that we do, we tend to focus on things that are policy related. So we would look to understand how resource scarcity can potentially create flashpoints that could lead to future conflict.
And speaking of resources and water, Dean, tell us about the report you just released.
Yeah, so we've had the pleasure of releasing a joint report with the University of Cambridge that focuses on how water is going to drive climate migration or climate mobility around the world. Now, essentially what that means is the voluntary or involuntary movement of people because of climate change. And interestingly, what we found is that floods will be a key driver regardless of where in the world you are. Moving people within countries as a critical issue. Now, that's an important finding because often the topic of migration focuses on external migration, so people coming into a country. But what we found is that the real challenge is how people move within a country. So our key finding and the overall approach to our report was that if you're going to seriously manage the climate mobility challenge, you have to put a much more strategic focus on dealing with water.
So for both of you, what's next? What actions need to be taken?
Well, there's a lot to be done. So one of the work streams that we are launching with the lab is a Peace Shapers incubator. And this is an opportunity, again, that draws on some of the work that Cambridge has done in the past with their successful Cambridge Social Ventures activity and incubator program, which will seek applications from small cohorts of people who have a project or a partnership or a social venture that they can bring to the incubator and have a series of engagements with staff and fellows of the centre who can help them scale that and bring it out to support the social venture and social problem that they're trying to seek. So applications are now open for this incubator, and we would really see this as a great way to, as I said earlier, draw on the voices that perhaps are not always at the forefront of solving these complex social problems.
And I think what we'd like to see, one of the key things we've highlighted in the report is that water resilience and social resilience are two sides of the same coin. And that means from a private sector perspective, we'd like to see a much more strategic focus on the water topic. And from the public sector perspective, bringing those two lenses together and really treating this as a systemic issue, and that can be solved only by collective action across multiple sectors and multiple stakeholders. We'd really like to see those actors come together to solve those issues.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.